we look up at the night sky, the universe seems impossibly vast, beautiful, and perfectly still. With the sheer scale of the cosmos, it kind of feels like everything is safely spread out. But I'm here to tell you that is a total illusion. The gritty reality is far more chaotic, and there are some absolute cosmic monsters lurking in the dark ocean of space that are much, much closer than they appear.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because the cosmos doesn't always stay in its lane. What would actually happen if a rogue star unceremoniously rampaged right through our solar system? And just how apocalyptic would it be if it brought its very own system of planets along for the ride? To fully grasp this threat, we first have to establish our borders. Every now and then, a random interstellar asteroid drifts through what we call the Oort Cloud. Think of this region as a massive, spherical wall of icy debris sitting at the absolute outer edge of our solar system. It essentially acts as our final cosmic frontier, shielding us from the deep, freezing dark. Now, what if I told you that our frontier has already been breached? No, really. A rogue star has actually invaded our sun's territory before. A dim red dwarf, dubbed Schultz's star, crossed right through our Oort Cloud roughly 70,000 years.
During this ancient invasion, Schultz's star passed incredibly close. We're talking just 2.8 light years away from our sun. Now, in galactic terms, that is practically a grazed cheek. Fortunately for our planetary neighborhood, it made a sharp turn in the opposite direction, totally sparing us from immediate catastrophe.
To put that terrifyingly close shave into perspective for you, when it passed through the Oort Cloud, Schultz's star was 5 times closer to us than Proxima Centauri, which is currently the absolute closest known star to our solar system. Even though it was mostly minding its own business and eventually turned away, its immense gravity left a permanent scar. That brief visit unceremoniously altered the orbits of about 10% of all the comets and asteroids in our entire solar system. Interestingly enough, Schultz's star didn't have much of a direct effect on Earth itself. Although, in a massive and pure coincidence, around that exact same time, 70,000 years ago, early humans almost got completely wiped out by an apocalyptic volcanic eruption right here on the surface. Wild, right? The approaching invader, Gliese 710. The star is ancient history, sure, but it builds into a very real modern threat. Because right now, another rogue star named Gliese 710 is barreling directly toward us. And unlike the dim red dwarf that passed us millennia ago, Gliese 710 is substantial. It packs about 60% of the mass of our own sun. That is a massive gravitational wrecking ball headed straight for our cosmic neighborhood. And it's moving with terrifying momentum. This stellar invader is currently traveling across the galaxy at a blistering 52,000 kilometers per hour. So the clock is totally ticking. Gliese 710 is scheduled to make its first contact with our solar system in exactly 1.29 million years. Okay, I know on a human scale that's forever away, but on a cosmic scale, that is tomorrow. And when it arrives, it is going to shake the Earth. At first, it wouldn't affect us directly, but as it brutally plows into the Oort Cloud, it'll send massive chunks of space rock showering inward. As a result, we'd see roughly 170 meteors, comets, and asteroids hitting the Earth every single day. That's 10 times more than the bombardment our planet experiences right now. Now, most comets and meteors might not seem like a big deal since they often fall in unpopulated regions or just burn up entirely in the atmosphere. But to ground the sheer scale of this impending threat, look back to 1908 in Siberia. It took just one single asteroid to totally obliterate 80,000 trees and aggressively blow out windows up to 60 kilometers. Think about the devastating reality of that. If that exact same Siberian asteroid were to hit modern-day New York, the entire city and everyone in it would be caught directly in the blast zone. Now just imagine a daily barrage of threats on that exact scale. And here is the most chilling part of this entire scenario. All that destruction, all those terrifying localized impacts, that is what happens if just a single star, one that is smaller than our sun, barely brushes just inside our solar system. Recipe for galactic soup. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what happens when we scale the disaster up. What would a truly massive star, one larger than our sun, do if it breached the Oort Cloud? Well, because of the incredibly large distances in space, the destruction wouldn't be an instant flash. First, the invading star would heavily disrupt the orbital cycle for every single planet it passed. Then, over the span of millions of years, we'd witness a slow-motion chaos of endless debris waves, eventually setting some of our own planets on a direct collision course.
And the chaos would escalate exponentially. If the rogue star brought its own planets and moons trailing behind it, our home would literally turn into a catastrophic galactic soup. Stars and planets would be aggressively pulled out of their original orbits. Massive collisions between these worlds would create a brutal rippling effect across the void, disrupting planetary orbits even further. It's absolute pandemonium.
In this relentless gravity storm, Earth's delicate, life-sustaining balance would be completely shattered. Ultimately, the gravitational tug-of-war would become way too much. Our planet would be knocked entirely out of its orbit, cast adrift into the freezing dark of empty space.
And that is, of course, assuming our planet survived long enough to be cast out in the first place. It's far more likely we'd be destroyed first by violent, unending meteor storms and the fiery remnants of other colliding planets raining above.
The reality check.
So the crucial point is, before we get too apocalyptic and start packing our cosmic bags, we need to bring this back to reality and look at the actual probabilities. Astrophysicists estimate that a staggering 40,000 stars have actually entered the Oort cloud at some point in the history of our solar system. But remember, every single one of those 40,000 stars was just on a visiting trip. The reality is, the sheer unimaginable vastness of space acts as our ultimate shield. The chances that any of those rogue stars will ever make it deep past the Oort cloud and into our interplanetary system are incredibly close to zero.
So we can safely breathe a sigh of relief when it comes to rogue stars. But space is full of far darker, invisible monsters, which leaves you with one final, deeply unsettling question. What would happen if something with infinitely more gravity, like a black hole, came just a little too close to the solar system?